Roger Stone kind of do a walk back and say, you know, I was just hyping things. All these things I claimed, you know, were jokes and weren't quite true. So it's a tough line for him to walk. And just the fact that Bannon was called back to talk about Roger Stone is another good reminder that Roger Stone is someone who, whatever this probe does or does not turn up, legitimately has been President Trump's friend for 30 years. He was quite close to the campaign. It was Roger Stone who was instrumental in installing Paul Manafort in his role in the campaign. It is Roger Stone who communicated with Trump frequently during the campaign and even into at least the early days of the White House. So depending on what Mueller's probe does find, this is not like some of these others, as they've tried to claim, a mere periphery figure. Roger Stone is someone who was in touch with all of the key players throughout the entire ordeal.
Mimi, we've established you can't be intimidated, so I'll ask you politely, as I ask you all the time, this latest Washington Post reporting that we were just talking about, where does it tell you this investigation is right now?
Well, I mean, they are still clearly very focused on Stone, and what we're hearing about in the new reporting is that they're, in addition to obviously looking at his electronic communications, at his public statements that he made, you know, bragging about his connections to WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, they're also focusing, obviously, on his private statements to people within the campaign, like Bannon. And that's important, I think, for two reasons, because it shows, one, that Mueller is trying to figure out when Stone said things publicly, as we know he did, about his connections to WikiLeaks. Were those true? This is a way of testing, you know, what he said privately against his public statement. Was it just bravado, or was he also saying this to people in confidence? And second of all, when he's saying this if he's talking about this, you know, connections to WikiLeaks to people in the campaign, that also tells us about what knowledge and possibly what knowledge people in the campaign also had. So they're zeroing in on that question of why were those emails released when they were released, and who knew about that, and who might have helped plan that timing. And it could just be it could not be Roger Stone, it could be Roger Stone, and it could also be people in the campaign that he coordinated with. And I think that's really where they are.
Frank Figliuzzi, you get to be our closer tonight, and I saw some of the comments you made to one of our producers about the issue central to this, and we don't mean to dance around it, but I need you to talk about it. If Americans are willing to pay attention at the end of this, what do you think they're going to learn about what Russia has done to the United States and their role in our politics?
Well, it's a good question as we discuss the role of Roger Stone, because what really is at the heart of this question and at the heart of the special counsel investigation is the degree to which the campaign colluded with a foreign adversary to get assistance toward the campaign, and the degree to which that foreign adversary did so to a receptive campaign staff. And so when you talk about Roger Stone, ultimately what's likely to come out here is the collusion question. And if Americans read a final report carefully, it's going to read like a John le Carré novel in terms of attempts to get a intelligence service engaged, and the use of Russia to use WikiLeaks to get emails out. And so, ironically here, people like Roger Stone, the dirty tricksters, they thought they were helping their candidate. They thought they're doing things to reach out and help. And what really was going on was Russia was duping them. Russia was using them for their own means. And these folks have been duped. The question is whether or not they care that a foreign adversary used them as a means to an end.
On a troubling note, we wrap up our first segment with our thanks to our guests, Ashley Parker, Frank Figliuzzi, Mimi Rocah. Greatly appreciated. And coming up for us with 1 week